How's it going, guys? Ben with Sodak Horizon. I am here at Bent Arrow Archery in Madison, South Dakota with the man, the myth, the legend, Mike. Mike, tell us a little about yourself.
I'm Mike Kane. I own Bent Arrow Archery here. We're a small pro shop in South Dakota. We carry Matthews, Hoyt, PSE, Trueball Excel, and many, many others. We're an Easton dealer also. We do things a little bit different here than you're going to find at most other shops in the country. We go deeper than most shops do with regards to setup and tuning and whatnot, and hopefully we can bring some performance to Ben's new TriTech here.
Well, anything to make me a better shot, I will take. But like he said, we are setting up the TriTech 33 from Darton today. And you are a Darton dealer too, correct?
I can get Dartons, yes.
Boom. So if you need a Darton, call my man Mike up. Otherwise, we're gonna dive right into it because I've had this bow for 4 days and I cannot go another day without shooting it. So,
all right,
stay tuned.
Let's get it done. I just put my finger on it and I just go over, and then you come back through both of those over knots, just get it kind of finger tight, and then you come back through your first where you just had your finger on it, and you can see that that'll just kind of pull itself together. The nice part about it is if you need to move your knock point up or down, these will move with the string, or not move, they'll move up and down the serving. So, you know, you tie it above and then you can walk it down the string to where it's supposed to be at. And then when you go to pull it tight, leave yourself some decent tag ends. And if you're not doing this every day and you got calluses all over your hands, take a Allen wrench, wrap them up. But all you have to do is just pull down like that, and you don't have no more serving separation from your soft knots. So, and you can still move them.
So there's your pro pit. So there's your pro pit. There's your pro tip of the day. Constrict your knots for soft knots, not over under. I've been doing over under for the last 6 years. Now I will be doing constrictor knots. That's a good tip, Mike.
Yeah. You have a longer draw length, and this is a 33-inch axle-to-axle bow. And the vast majority of people, they say, okay, yeah, you want some slop. And I agree with that, but I actually believe that just a little bit more than what the norm is, where they say you just want one piece of serving or one strand of serving as your slop, so you barely are moving. I actually want just a little bit more than that, because a lot of times what can happen is as your D-loop tightens over time, it will put more pressure on your soft knots, and because of how it's pulling tight, it's going to continue to pull in. It's going to just give you more time to have the correct tension on your knock. Actually going to put this in the draw board and find where your Peep's supposed to be at 3.5 inches, which is what it measured off of this bow. And then when we put your peep in, you'll have no rotation once it's tied in. Because what we're gonna do is we're going to match where it wants to sit in the string versus putting it in there and then trying to force the D-loop to be in a place where it wants to pull it back and force the string to be in that same spot. So if you're having peep rotation problems, it is because they're not being installed this way.
Gotcha.
Our goal is that you go home and are ready to go shoot. So if you've got a target at 40 or at 60 or 70, whatever, and you, one, you have sight pins that are set, and two, you have a sight tape that's accurate to at least get you on a bail or on a target. And you might have to make a little bit of adjustment from there, but the idea is that the vast majority of people out there want to go home and shoot their bows. They don't want to go home and have to tinker with them. And from experience, I just know that one of the biggest pain points or anxiety points for a lot of people is getting their sight pin set and building a sight tape. The last thing you want to do is have a brand new bow and brand new set of arrows and lose them, break them, stick them in the wood or whatever. And so we try to shortcut that so that that's done. We use Precision Cut Solutions. They've been great to work with. We've been working with them since last summer, and they've allowed us to be able to use their program and help an enormous amount of shooters to do the same thing. So they do have a cool feature on there where we can set their sight pins. Also, just need to make a few measurements and then have a good set of calipers to finish setting up, which we're in time, which is awesome. But then also we're going to set our peep height. So gives you a split for the middle of it. And what we're going to do is measure from the middle of the arrow to the string, middle of the string, and I just got really lucky and moved that exactly where we needed to. So that's right at 3.5 inches. So what I'm paying attention to is where that's sitting rotation-wise in the string at full draw. So when we put our peep sight in it and tie it in, it will always pull back straight the same way every time. So put the peep in it and it wants to sit wonky, we'll put twists in the string as we need to and then reset our D-loop so that it fits properly.
Bow set up. It's a little echoey in here, so bear with me. But we got the sight on, stabilizers. We got center shot set on the rest. Correct?
Yeah.
Now we're going to do some bear shaft tuning. We're going to see how this goes, because historically, bear shaft and me do not get along great. That's smooth. That is a smooth. I'm not doing that yet.
your bear shaft. That's literally just your face pressure.
Boom. Don't even have to change nothing. So that's 75 pounds. And I was a little worried about getting a 75-pound bow. But that is smooth. I'm gonna try to do a little slower. No valley. There's not really a hill or nothing. That was everywhere. I got a little shaky there.
So as tall as you are and as short as my paper tuner is,
Squat down a little.
I'll just sit down.
Okay. Gosh, that is smooth. That is a smooth. All right, let's try again. That is. There's a bullet. Hot dog. All right, guys, so first impression, this bow is, honestly, 75 pounds feels about like the other bow that I was shooting, the Hoyt AX2 at 69, 71 pounds. So not a huge difference. The big difference I feel is the draw cycle. It's just straight back. There's not really a hill, there's not really a valley. It is straight pull all the way through till you hit the back wall. I haven't tried creeping it forward, probably not going to because I'm not a huge fan of creeping, but it is a solid back wall bow. The draw cycle is super smooth. And honestly, the weight, it just feels so light. I might actually have to take some weight off these stabilizers because it is such a light bow, it wants to lean forward, which might actually help with the kickback. But this is just a shooter. I feel like I could shoot this all day. Man, I'm gonna do this more. No peep rotation, none whatsoever. Almost a bullet hole. Almost. So would you say, I'll zoom in a minute, but these, so I'm a little knocked down to the left. Would you say that's face pressure? Would you say that's jerking, twerking? What do you think that is?
One is because you have a bow that is at 75 pounds and with the velocity that's coming out of there, any little bit of micro movement is going to be amplified with the bear shaft at that distance because there's nothing to correct arrow flight. I would say it's a great place to start. You know, from a tuning standpoint, what I like to do with the bear shaft is start at 10 yards, shoot a bear shaft, examine how it is in the target. If you've got good bales like these, where you can actually look at how it's sitting in the target, if it's level, and left and right, that's going to tell you an enormous amount more than what a bear shaft through paper does for me. I do paper tune all the bows that come through the shop here, but for me, it's just a starting point. It's just, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you have to do 2 + 2 to get to 4 in order to be able to get to 8 down the road. So if it was me, you have a couple of different tears. The main one is knock low and to the left. The next thing that I would do is I'd probably shoot a veined arrow through paper, see what it did, and then I would step back at 10 yards and see what your bear shaft does, what it looks like.
We're gonna listen to the expert. That's what we're gonna do. A little bit of knock left still.
this bow, so when we went through and did the setup on it, I did move the cables to the right, which would have put a little bit of pressure on the cams, give you a little bit of cam lean. So straight out of the gate, I would probably not mess with it a ton as far as tune wise until I had shot it enough to kind of get a feel for what the bow is going to do. You know, we can tune in and get a bullet hole, that's not a big deal. But just from the standpoint that you're in a really, really good starting place, if it was mine, I'd probably put a little bit more cam lean from the top and the bottom cams just to clear that up just a little bit. But before I would do that, I would want to shoot your bare shaft at 10 and probably at least see what it's doing. And you can kind of see what it is that I look for.
Today we're going to listen to the professional. So we're going to do what he just said. All right, 10 yards used.
Yep, right there. So when you're shooting this, make sure that you're a pretty tall guy and we got plenty of bail up high. Don't shoot downhill. We want to shoot as level as we possibly can so that we give the arrow the best opportunity to hit the bail level and stay where we want it to be.
Am I trying to hit it through paper or just straight bail?
I just shoot bail. All right. Because what we're really going to look for is okay. So grab your camera and I'll show you what I look for.
Oh, this is gonna be good. I'm so glad I went with an expert this time.
So essentially, if you're standing back from where we're at, you're standing right behind where you shot the arrow. So if you move over just a little bit to your left and you look at it, you can see from here that it is matching what was going on through your paper. So if you shoot a bare shaft at home, you want to make sure that you have a bail that's similar to this, that's not going to give you a kick one way or the other with your arrow, and it's just going to hold it real still. So you can see that that arrow is actually mirroring what was going on in the paper, so it's running a little tail low left. So from a bare shaft standpoint, we got the same amount. At 10 yards, it's pretty minimal as to what you've got going on there. But yeah, it's a great place to start from a tune standpoint. So
Where do we go from here?
well, what I would probably do next is what I would like to do is move your cam lean to the left slightly. Essentially what we're doing is we're going to take the bow and push it towards your tear so that it brings the string in line with where the arrow wants to go, and bring that string behind the arrow and put it out there in the atmosphere where it's supposed to be.
Let's do it. So before we get too much further into this detailed tune that Mike's gonna hook me up with, I'm gonna talk to the man, the myth, the legend, Grady Kane.
How's it going?
Grady is a world-class archer, literally.
Yep.
Tell him where you just were at.
Which time?
Oh. When's the last time you flew overseas to shoot your bow?
Last August, or last September, I think.
And where'd you
I was
go?
in South Korea.
South Korea.
Yep.
For the USA Worlds.
Yep, no, for just the overall world championships.
Overall World Championship.
For all the senior pros of the world. So, top 3 of each country go to represent their country.
And you were there for the United States.
Yep.
How'd you place?
I did okay. I didn't have much notice going over there, but for what I had, I did pretty decent.
So you're literally in the presence of greatness right now.
Well,
I just want you to know that. He was representing the United States, the greatest country on earth, in the world's archery competition.
yep.
And he killed it.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice you got for a new archer?
Stick with it. Don't get discouraged. Just keep going.
World class. World class answers from a world class athlete. Right there. Boom. Grady Kane. Wave again, Grady. You're going to be seeing more of him. He's a little camera shy. We're gonna straighten him up, don't worry. All right, Mike, so what are we doing to fix that tear?
All right, so we had left tear, so we want to move the cam to the left. So essentially what we're doing is going to induce some cam lean to the left. So with Darton system here, they've got 2 spots where you can put pressure on the front of the limb that will affect how the cam is sitting and its orientation. So they've got basically a bolt that threads into these holes so that it holds it in place. And you're just going to put it in here until we have just some pressure. Now for myself, I like to move the top and the bottom. And I personally believe that you should move the top and the bottom. So what I want to do is we're just going to do this incrementally so that we know exactly where we're at. So I'm going to start with my wrench, horizontal here, and we're just going to put half a turn on it, okay? And we're going to do the same thing to the bottom.
You want me to hold something or you got it?
Oh, I got it. So we're just going to put a half a turn into this bottom limb, and then we're going to shoot it through paper again with a fletch shaft and see what we do.
Boom.
So you can see that we're really, really close. So we're just on the right side of that arrow shaft. So let's put a quarter turn. So we put a half in it the last time. So we're gonna put a quarter in it. And that might be too much, but I would rather just kind of micro adjust it as we need.
Love it.
Let's shoot that one more time, I think we can do a little better.
A lot of this is shooter error.
Well, that's why, take your time. It's one of those things that there we go.
That was better.
Yep. We're still maybe just a tick right, but with your beard and a little bit of face pressure, that's kind of part of that. You're gonna fight that no matter what. If you have a tear, having it left as a right-handed person is the tear you wanna have, since, that's going to get you out of, any clearance issues and whatnot. We could move the roller guard just a little bit more. I don't think it would hurt anything. I don't believe that you've got any clearance issues. I didn't hear anything hitting or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, those are things that with a bow like this, with the adjustability that it's got, now that it has the peep in it, now that it has the rest tied in and everything, essentially all you need to do is, if you change arrows, shoot through paper, shoot a bare shaft, you can make those adjustments on the fly and take care of it. So
awesome.
and then one other thing is that, we didn't have to do anything with regards to timing. This bow came to us perfectly in time. We changed it to your draw length and it's still in time. So we didn't have to make any changes there, but if we did, it's simple enough to work on, and you're just adding pressure on the actual cable system that they've got. So it works really, really well.
So one thing I will add is every bow that I've gotten from Darton has come in time. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's a normal thing for most bow companies.
There's more that are getting that way, but it's not uncommon to have one that's not perfectly in time.
Gotcha. Well, shout out to Darton for always getting me a very well-tuned bow, or at least timed bow.
Well, and their system allows them to send it timed exactly, which when you're not having to put a half a twist in a cable, that just, you know, and you can actually micro tune where your cable is sitting. It just makes it a little bit simpler for them, and it makes it better for the end user.
Perfect. So what's the next step here, Mike?
Honestly, the next step is I'd probably get some velocities on this. We'd want to set up sight tape, and more than anything is get you shooting this bow for a while. I'd like to see you shoot a couple hundred shots through it, and then throw it back in the draw board, make sure that it's still in time. And that's really when I would do some final tune on it, just from the standpoint that essentially at that point in time you should be pretty well used to the bow, how it feels, how it shoots. If you do have any string settling, it'll be done and taken care of by that point. And you have a bow that you have a platform that is ready to rock and roll. You know, there's some guys that they'll get a bow and they'll change the grips on it and whatnot. All of that changes your tune, changes how you hold the bow. You might get home and decide, I want it to be, you know, a 1/4 inch longer, and you might, you know, move your modules or do a few things that'll get you there. The other piece of this is that in those first couple hundred shots, really feel out for what you need, and you hit on it before, is that this is kind of a lighter bow and you felt like it was a little bit front heavy. As you're shooting it, you might, you know, move your configuration, how your weight system is and whatnot on the bow, and that's obviously going to affect how it's going to tune. Depending on whether or not you run a quiver or not, if you leave your quiver on, those are things to take into consideration. It's not just let's shoot it through paper, it shot a bullet hole and call it done. This is kind of a process, and how we like to do things is that as people work with us and we work through whatever they've got going on with their bow, you know, we change day to day, shot to shot physically. So you have to be willing to look at this machine and say, okay, well, it's fallible, number one, I'm fallible, number two, but let's try to build the most forgiving system for myself. And there's other things, like we haven't messed with let off at all. We haven't done anything with your draw weight. I know you said it felt great, but that same thing being said is that this bow might really like these arrows at 72 pounds versus 75 pounds. And you're not going to know that until you start shooting at distance to see what kind of groupings you can put together. And realistically, what we're looking for there is whether the bow, you know, we want pin movement. So when the bow fires, as we're looking at what we're trying to shoot, that we're hitting that versus trying to make the pin sit still someplace and fire the shot. So what we want to build is a forgiving setup for you individually, and not just say, okay, this bow is perfectly tuned, go home and shoot it. And if you're struggling with shooting that perfectly tuned bow, well, we have to set that bow up around you. So.
Gotcha. Awesome.
We do it now.